Okay, thank you. Title: Carrying Her Voice. This project was created thanks to the support of FEMI and the Caribbean Amerindian Development Organization, CADO. Carrying Her Voice centers on the lived experiences of Lokono women in Pakuri, Region 4, Guyana. It explores how women hold on to ancestral knowledge amidst globalisation, gendered violence, and cultural loss. Everyday acts like cassava preparation and weaving reveal not only how women survive, but how they resist, maintaining culture as a living form of resilience and identity. Next slide, please. Here you can see South America and where Guyana is located, where this case study was happened. Next slide, please. Here in this red barrier, you can see the Guyana Shield, which is a ecologically protected area, and you can see that Guyana is within that area. Next slide. There is a pink dot, and that is exactly where this community, Pakuri or St. Cuthbert's Mission, is located. And the red dot is the capital of Guyana, and you can see that they're very close. Research topic. This research examines how Indigenous women's connection to land, craft, and spirituality shapes identity and continuity. Through their testimonies, we see how knowledge survives across generations, despite social and environmental pressures. Cassava and weaving are more than livelihood. They are memory and prayer. The project challenges how policy and development overlook these realities, placing Indigenous women at the center of cultural endurance. Next slide, please. This is an aerial photo of the center of St. Cuthbert's Mission, aka Pakuri. Next slide, please. Objectives and methodology. The goal was to document and honor women's knowledge systems, understanding how they are sustained or interrupted across generations. By gathering testimonies from elders, middle generation women, and youth, I traced how cassava and weaving function as threads of continuity and healing. The study combines storytelling and observation, treating these practices not as data, but as living knowledge rooted in community, rhythm, and care. Next slide, please. Methodology. This was an intercultural, feminist, and decolonial process. Women determined when, where, and how to share their stories, often in homes or while weaving, where they felt most at ease. Written and verbal consent were obtained following local protocol and the approval of the Tushao, our village chief. Every narrative was reviewed by participants before publication. This ensured shared authority and reciprocity, that stories remained theirs even in written form. Next slide, please. Context of the case. Pakuri, or St. Cuthbert's Mission, is a Lokono community in Guyana's Region 4. Shaped by histories of colonization and Christianization, these forces have eroded many ceremonies and Indigenous institutions, yet women continue to anchor the community through land-based practices. Cassava and weaving endure as sacred labor, connecting spiritual, ecological, and social life. In these acts, resistance and cultural sovereignty persist. Next slide, please. This is a photo of the women in our community gathered together, peeling cassava. Next slide, please. Grating cassava. Next slide, please. This is where you then put the grated cassava into. It's called a matapi, where you then drain the poisons and liquids, and which we also collect. Next slide, please. And then this is the product of that drainage. Next slide, please. And this is where it goes after to make cassava bread. Next slide, please. Conceptual framework. The study is grounded in intercultural principles, valuing both Indigenous and Western knowledge equally, guided by reciprocity and collective benefit. Women's testimonies were linked to international frameworks like UNDRIP and CEDAW, situating local realities within global rights contexts. Cassava work was understood as a ceremony of identity, where food, spirituality, and womanhood converge, reinforcing that Indigenous knowledge belongs in both community and policy spaces. Next slide, please. And this is women weaving tibisiri. Women stripping tibisiri, which then becomes the product that they weave. Next slide, please. And these are their crafts. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Theoretical references. 4 key frameworks guided this study. Decolonial epistemology challenges colonial erasure, reclaiming women's crafts as intellectual and spiritual knowledge. Intercultural theory builds dialogue between Indigenous and academic systems. Feminist ecological perspectives highlights women's roles in land stewardship and continuity. Human rights and environmental justice recognize land, food, and culture as inseparable rights. Together, these lenses reveal that Indigenous women's labor sustains both ecology and identity. Next slide, please. These are some photos from the field walks during this case study. Next slide, please. And a pineapple farm. Next slide, please. Insight from Indigenous women. The women's voices revealed both strength and rupture. Elders hold most traditional knowledge. The middle generation longs to reclaim it, and the youth risk disconnection altogether. Many spoke quietly about gendered violence, revealing both pain and courage. Yet through cassava, weaving, and storytelling, they continue to affirm pride, strive for unity, and embody resilience. These insights reveal the emotional and cultural heartbeat of carrying her voice. Next slide, please. Pineapples and bananas from the field walks. Next slide, please. Cassava bread made by one of the interviewed elders. Next slide, please. Research findings, Chapter 1. The study found that Lokono women's everyday practices are deeply political. Cassava and weaving serve as ceremonies of belonging and survival, not just crafts. Despite external pressures, from church influence to extractive industries, women maintain these as acts of cultural resistance. Policies rarely acknowledge their contribution, leaving gaps between state frameworks and lived Indigenous realities. Next slide, please. Research findings, Chapter 2. Women's testimonies reveal that culture, spirituality, and survival are inseparable. Cassava is both food and faith, a living heritage passed through women's hands. Silence around violence underscored the need for safe, women-led spaces for dialogue and healing. These findings call for the action to strengthen intergenerational bridges and to honor women's knowledge as both heritage and leadership. Next slide, please. This is our oldest elder that we interviewed in this case study. Next slide, please. Advocacy plan, goal, objectives, target audience. The advocacy goal is to strengthen healing and cultural continuity through Indigenous women's leadership. Objectives include ensuring that women's voices inform decision-making and policy. The target audience spans the local, women, youth, and elders to the national and international, including policymakers and organizations that shape Indigenous and environmental governance. Next slide, please. Strategies, activities, outcomes. The strategy blends community empowerment with policy engagement. Storytelling and media visibility extend women's narratives beyond Pakuri, reshaping who is seen as knowledge holder. Workshops bring together elders, youth, and leaders to restore intergenerational exchange. Case study booklets and articles serve as advocacy tools. The project will be offered to the Pakuri Village Council to adopt and seek funding through Guyana's carbon credit program. If not pursued, I will independently apply for Indigenous-led project grants to ensure this project does come to fruition. Expected outcomes include recognition of Indigenous women's knowledge in policy, stronger community ownership, and renewed continuity between women's labour, spirituality, and healing. Next slide, please. Conclusion. Summary of findings. Carrying Her Voice shows that Lokono women's everyday acts, weaving, planting, and storytelling are powerful forms of resistance and renewal. Yet generational fractures endanger this continuity. Healing those divides requires creating intentional, women-led spaces for transmission, unity, and education. This is where Waihiaro Kalata, We Women Heal, will emerge as a living extension of the research, transforming insight into action. Next slide, please. Recommendations. Recognize Indigenous women's ecological and cultural role within policy and education, ensuring funding streams, including climate and carbon credit funds, reach women-led projects, support intergenerational education linking elders, middle generation, and youth, amplify Indigenous women's voices in decision-making spaces regionally and globally. Next slide, please. Thank you. Carrying Her Voice is more than research. It is testimony, resilience, and the seed of healing. Lokono women continue to weave identity and continuity through acts of care and creation. Waihiaro Kalata, We Women Heal, carries that legacy forward. Thank you for listening, for witnessing, and for walking alongside us in this journey towards cultural renewal.